Advisor Rome.
Here.
Senator Backup is not going to be with us today. Senator Chardelli.
Here, hello.
Senator Jones.
Here.
Senator Klonczynski.
Here.
Senator Willis.
I'm here.
All right. Senator Zebel.
Here.
All right. Senator Linder.
Here.
All right. And Senator Jane.
Present.
All right. All right. Awesome.
I like that. I like that uniqueness. That's awesome. All right, now moving on. Corrections and approval of the previous meeting's minutes. So I know that there were some minutes on the SharePoint. Can someone please put them in the chat if they haven't already yet done so? And read them over. Whenever anyone's ready, I will entertain a motion to approve.
They can almost put them in the chat if someone doesn't.
Yeah, if you don't know what I'm talking about with SharePoint and you're just having trouble, yeah, then I guess VP Shockey will put them in the chat. But unless if I'm being anyone saying otherwise, yeah, Sarah Willis. Oh, thank you, Vicky Lavella.
Short of somebody else having any revisions, I move to approve the agenda.
All right. Well, a motion has been made to approve the agenda or the minutes.
I'm sorry, the minutes.
Okay. So a motion's been made to approve the previous meeting's minutes. Is Senator Zebel, is that a second?
Yep.
All right, seconded by Senator Zebel. All those in favor, please use the hand raising feature now and keep your hands up, please. All right, and that's the majority, and you can put your hands down, and that passes. And then moving on, same dealio, correction and approval of the agenda, so take a look over it as well. And I'll entertain a motion at any time to approve that. Senator Chardelli, I see your hand still raised, just an FYI, unless that was intentional. Okay, thank you, there we go. All right, Senator Willis.
I move to approve the agenda.
All right, a motion's been made by Senator Willis. Do we have a second? Looks like Senator Linder, is that a second?
Yes, I second.
All right, second by Senator Linder. All those in favor, please use the hand raising feature now and keep your hands up. Perfecto. All right, that's the majority. You can put your hands down. Thank you very much, and that's been approved. All right, moving on. And I'm just going to have them all down. I still do not see, I believe, Dr. Gaines was in here.
Did he get the link? I'm just wondering. It's on the okay.
Yeah.
I sent it and you did.
Yeah, and I just want, yeah, I was.
I'm on my email.
Yeah.
Can you check your email quick, just to make sure?
And I do not see anything. Oh.
Okay.
So yeah, I assume everything's still on good.
Keep moving and jump
Yeah,
back.
we'll just keep moving on. And just to note, Sarah Linder, if that's not a question, your hand is also still up. And
Only on that screen.
oh, I still see it on my screen too. Well, you know, it's been weird. It's getting weirder. It's Halloween-ish. Okay, so we'll come back to public comments when Dr. Daniels does come. But until then, moving on, officer and committee reports, executive council report, President Green. So yeah, really, again, this conversation's been, we've been doing an ongoing work with the idea of moving progress along with our 3-year plan, the things that we want to look forward to and getting done, and that really plays a lot in with the town hall and planning for that, a little bit more specifics, slowly being defined, and timetables like that. And I'm seeing it pieced together. That might be a problem. That right there. Can you just do 451? I'm sorry, everyone. I don't know if everyone else can see that. The laptop says it's getting an update, so we just want to stop. That's why I just stopped in the middle of mid sentence. So anyway, though, yeah, things are slowly moving along, making progress. Yeah, November 8th, we've got that going on. So that's gonna be fun. And continue to help pass the message along. That really just perfect timing, actually, because I'm gonna say that concludes my report, and then I'm gonna go right over back now to Dr. Daniels and say, welcome, Dr. Daniels.
Sean and members of the Senate, good afternoon. It's good to be here. Sorry I'm not there, but.
Oh, hey, you're here. You're here.
So, you probably want an update on where we are, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to open up, are there any questions I can answer? So I think we got off to a fairly good start with our fall semester. Though we were still down in enrollment around 6%. But the encouraging thing is that the summer enrollment was up over 8%. And so net, we're down somewhere around 3%. I know that Tarina and her team have gotten the fall schedule almost completed, because I think it's got to be disseminated very soon, if not already. And you'll see an increase in some of the in-person classes as well. So we're doing this step by step. It's also encouraging. We'll see more applications for the spring. Normally what happens is our spring enrollment is lower than the fall enrollment. But these last 20 months has been anything except regular. And so there may very well be some type of growth in the spring, but it's too early to tell. And we haven't even started tracking enrollments yet. Probably won't do that for another month or 45 days. But everything seems to be in place by doing that. One of the reasons that I was late, HLC still has to do a site visit for Goodman South Campus. And we've been waiting for them to come back with the date for about the last 2 months. So we just got a date. They said, well, you can do it next Monday, or you have to push it to next spring. Next Monday just won't work. So now we're going to trying to get that review done either March or April. And I'm not really concerned about it. I think whenever that does happen, we'll pass with flying colors. Some of you have heard about Achieving the Dream. And they had a meeting about a week ago. And I think, I'm not sure if the students actually had a time with the coaches, but there's going to be involvement and participation by students within this whole segment. This year, this first year, is really defining what does the college want to focus in on as relates to student success and equity. And so after we define what that is, then we'll be able to move forward in what we'll be doing the following year. There's an assessment that will occur probably in March. And that assessment is really looking at the climate and the climate from different perspectives. It could be a faculty perspective, it could be a student perspective, it could be a staff perspective, but it will go out to everybody. So we'll look forward to that. Other than that, some of you know we signed a guaranteed transfer agreement with UW College of Education. I think that was 3 weeks ago. We're working on some other guaranteed transfers so that we can move forward with that as well. So let me stop there because there may be lots of questions and I'll try to answer them. See, I don't have my colleagues with me, so I'll just have to speak for them.
Any questions?
Don't be bashful.
E.B. Labella.
Hello. First thing, thank you very much for being here tonight and talking to us. I guess my question would be, I know you talked about defining some things as goals for the next year. I was just wondering, what do you think will be some of the long-term changes and effects of the pandemic for Madison College? Are those also kind of being think about for next year, or maybe even more so in the future?
We've started to give a lot of thought to what is a post-pandemic, and I hesitate to say that because I don't think you're ever going to get out of the pandemic. I think there was always going to be a COVID-19 around. It's how we actually are going to address it through our booster shots, through our regular shots, and so forth. I think at some point in time, depending on the trend of COVID and any other variant, the mask will go away. And my reading is the county of Dane in the city, that mask requirement is supposed to end November the 5th. And my understanding is it will not end November the 5th. But it may be December. So I think we've got to think through more of the in-person types of classes. But what does that mean? We have a lot of classes which they call online live, which gives options to students. I think you'll see more of those classes in the future. I think you'll see much more hybrid in the future. From a staffing side, I don't believe that we will ever be back to 100% staff as we were pre-COVID. And I mean 100% on the campuses. There are things that can be done remotely, especially some administrative functions. Finance can be done remotely. And we have found ways to do some other administrative tasks remotely, and I think that's going to occur. We really got to think about space. And if you are moving around individuals who don't have to be at their desk 5 days a week, 40 hours a day, okay, so what does that mean for the configuration of the space that is around our campuses? So I think that's going to be a important issue. There are issues that have come up, and I think they were already here, but it became much more defined because of COVID. So lots of students didn't come back because of childcare. And lots of folks can't go back to work because they can't find viable childcare, especially at the time they need childcare. So if I'm working a second shift, there may be no one available to provide childcare to allow me to work that second shift. Similarly, we've got an issue of students who need childcare And we only have one child care facility among 7 campuses, and that's here at Truax. So advanced planning has to say, okay, we need to have more facilities that will address the issue of childcare. But to address the issue of childcare, you need more childcare workers. And we've got the increased capacity, knowing that we will never have full capacity in terms of getting folks to go into the field. And half the problem going into the field is the wages. And so that's another issue that we are part of trying to tackle. But if we can get more people trained, that means that we can get more people into the industry. But to get more people trained, you got to have more capacity to do the training from which we don't have now. So that's a long term. But that was really shown, the evidence was really shown during this pandemic that we need to be focusing on it. And I think there are other areas that we need to focus on. We had a discussion this morning in Cabinet, and we know that up until this fall, we had a critical loss of male students. And there's been a lot written in the past 4 months on males not coming back to institutions. What does that mean for Madison College? What does it mean for our relationships with not only K-12, but the senior level institutions? And how can we address some of those issues that have come up because of the pandemic? We also know that the pandemic hit hard folks of color. How are we going to encourage people to come back into our institution? And that's just not a Madison issue, that's an issue across the state and nationally. And we're seeing, some encouragement in early numbers that we have looked at. But it's going to be different. And I think we're going to be much more in tune to what those differences are. The other thing that has really been brought to the forefront is mental health, and how students as well as employees are being affected, and how does that impact them as they're going forward. I looked this morning at something called, let me see if I can get this right. You Will. You Will is a software that does teletherapy for students. And there are some colleges that have been using it for the past year and a half. Because oftentimes students won't go and see a counselor because there may be some stigma about having someone see you go see that counselor. This way you can access licensed counselors 24/7. So it's something I did not know existed until this morning, and basically sent it over to Geraldo and Tim to take a look at it, because what I read this morning was about how it is impacting the Native American colleges, because they can't get to counselors because of geographic problems, gaps in transportation and so forth. This allows them to do some of that. And I think it's just something that we just need to review. So I think those are some of the things that we are going to be thinking about in this period of time that we're now entering.
Thank you very much for your answer. That was very insightful.
Thank you. I think Ms. Willis had her hand up.
The laptop is glitching. Good evening, Dr. Daniels. The question that I have is, where are the WTCS college presidents' current status on travel for next year, for spring, for conferences? Today, BPA, Skills USA, and PAS had their fall leadership conference.
Yeah.
And right now, I know BPA is planning to have their spring leadership conference in February virtually, because I believe our understanding is that the college presidents are planning to make a determination by January about whether or not travel will be reinstated or not.
Oh, well, I think there's some clarification here. No other college president can make a decision for Madison College except the Madison College president. They are local decisions. That's not something that the presidents decide statewide, oh, this is what we're not going to do. And so, and each college has uniqueness. So they have to make a decision based on the travel for themselves. If we are continuing this trend of what we're doing, there's probably not going to be a restriction on travel. We've got some travel going on now. And there'd be no reason to scale it back unless the health situation increased that caused us to do that. We've had the same issue with our athletic programs, and they've been traveling. One of the issues is that whenever they're going someplace, and I'm going to use Illinois as an example, they are very stringent in Illinois about your vaccinations and your mask. And we got to be able to show proof of that, especially when you're traveling in Illinois in a type of event. But we're going to address those issues as well. We started screening our athletes twice a week about 5 weeks ago. And so, and when we find that screening actually shows that someone is not, we strongly recommend it. So I don't think there's going to be that type of restriction. The other side of the coin for some of my other colleague presidents is their budgets. And, lots of the federal dollars boosted up some of those budgets, but those federal dollars are going away soon. And so I don't know what their budgets are, but I don't see why we would not, especially you talk to something like Skills USA, why we would not be supporting students going to the statewide. I think when we think about national, it may be a different issue, maybe, but that national's not until the summer.
Same thing for BPA. Ours is in May and theirs is in June.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to know. And then I just also had a question. Has any consideration been placed on, you mentioned the mental health proponent with students. Has any consideration been put into account for?
You faded out. You went blank. You went.
Unfortunately, I muted myself. I'm sorry. I touched the computer. But thank you. Has there been consideration for students who may have like PTSD since COVID, and so they are, they are sort of concerned about being exposed or re-exposed to COVID-19, and that potentially being impacting like their attendance in hybrid classes where they may participate in the online piece, but not the face-to-face part, and trying to work around what accommodations can be made in those circumstances.
Yeah, I can't speak specifically to that. I know that there has been There was some discussions regarding those types of accommodations, as well as some others. That's a difficult issue in terms of the courses that we have, and they're hybrid. And I think the best thing for students to do when they are in that type of situation is to have a direct communication with their instructor. Because that instructor can make some allowances that you may not see. When you think about reasonable accommodations, it really hasn't focused in on that population. But if there's a student, I would think that, and we've asked all faculty to be sensitive, especially during this time period, to students who have different types of needs. I think the other thing that students can go through, like PTSD, is to actually engage DRS. And so they can also think about what other those accommodations can be done.
Thank you so much, Dr. Daniels.
Oh, no problem.
Hopefully, everyone can hear us again. If not, you'll let me know. We could hear you. We just couldn't speak when we tried speaking. It sounded like no one could hear us though. That was great. Great questions, Sarah Willis. Does anybody else have any questions for Dr. Daniels? Maybe not. Bishaki, you have a question.
So I know you talked a little bit about concerns or issues facing the college. I'm just curious, now that we're about halfway through the fall semester, what do you see as the biggest issue facing our college community going into the spring semester?
That's an interesting question. What's the biggest issue facing our college going into the spring semester? I would believe that the biggest issue is about enrollment. And are we actually in a position to increase enrollment, which means folks having the access to our programs? But there's a complementary issue to that, which is how do you support students best in an environment that's hybrid or remote? And we still have to do that, and that's an issue. Some of our students learn fine hybrid or remote. Some don't. So how do we actually provide that support for those who don't? So I think those are a couple of issues. The latter issue we've been working with for the last 20 months. And hopefully that we can make some headway, more headway than what we have. But I think those are the two biggest issues facing the college. Now, there are other things happening in the college that are going to happen regardless, like construction that's going on right now. We will close our West Campus December 31st, but there's been limited enrollment in there. So, yeah, that's what I think are the big issues.
Awesome. Yeah, good question. Any other questions?
Mr. Shockey.
Yes.
Oh, you have another question? Oh, okay.
Oh, no, I don't have.
I thought I had you. Yeah, okay.
My hand was still up, but
I see.
my apologies.
No, it's all right. I see Sarah Jones who has a question.
Yeah.
Hey, doctor. How you doing?
How you doing?
I'm doing well. So I know you touched a little bit on the demographic that was most affected by the pandemic. So I guess I just wanted a little more insight on that. Specifically, I guess it's men, but do you have a certain demographic of men that we haven't seen come back? And why do you think, do you have a hypothesis on why?
I got several. But first of all, it affected across the board. The Anglo male, the African American male, the Latinx male, the Hmong male, and the Native American male. They were all affected. And I think some of that deals with, I don't want to get too much into research here, but I think one, many of those folks had jobs that they lost, and they still had to support their families. So they're working 2 or 3 jobs right now, which does not allow them to come back. That's one. I think 2, the experiences that they had in a remote environment was probably not a good one. And I think at that point, they're not going to come back unless they can guarantee that they're in person. I think 3, if you talk about the high school male who came in, their last year was problematic. And they don't want to see that experience again. And unless you can tell that student that everything's going to be in person, then they won't come either. We're trying to reach out to find out some other reasons why folks did not return. As I said, it was encouraging because in the early numbers that we're seeing with applications, we see that there's another increase of male students. And then you have to look at what are their career objectives. And a lot of those career objectives are something that they don't want to spend their time in. They don't want to come to have 2 years of 2-year institutions before they can go to work or transfer. Yet we have the ability to do numbers of credentials, which I think might see an increase in that area. And when you look at the ratio, we went from 49% roughly of male students to about 42. Female students increased. And I think some of that is a societal issue. Some of the students who could actually come back and get some training that would lead to higher wage jobs, where are those higher wage jobs and what are they in? And are they prepared to do that? And that's not just a Madison College issue, that's a K-12 issue, and that's a post-secondary issue. So I think there's multiple reasons why you see a drop in male enrollment. That's from my perspective.
Well,
That was interesting because there was a article that was written. It was an editorial in the newspaper a week or 2 ago, and it was really looking at males going into different work occupational training and why they would or would not. And a lot of that dealt with what are the societal pressures on that male to go into those areas. It has come to the forefront, and this is something that is happening nationwide.
Senator Jones, you had another question?
I'm just curious, did it affect four-year institutions like UW Madison or UW Whitewater as much as it affected technical colleges? I don't know if you have that. I was just curious.
Yeah, I don't know. And I'm just talking about Madison College, not the rest of the 15. But I don't know about what UW Madison or Whitewater did. I'm assuming they have a slight Whitewater would probably have a slight decrease because they had a decrease in enrollment. I know that. UW-Madison, on the other hand, actually maintained their enrollment. And if you look at who got enrolled this year, over 50% of the students enrolled at UW-Madison for the fall semester came from out of state. And so that's it's another issue in itself.
All right. Yeah, there's a lot of good questions being asked. Are there any other, Senator Troidelli, you have a question as well?
Yeah. I was just curious, given the implementation of all these kind of emergency policies, are you concerned that the school could be the liable party if there was any sort of injuries or violations of the law, and if other parties kind of involved in this are, have blanket immunities? Are you concerned that the fallout could come back to the college?
No, not at all. We have worked with our general counsel on everything that we've done and also understanding our liability. And the college in itself would not have a financial liability. The liability, however, would be always in perception, but not from a legal standpoint or a financial standpoint.
So I guess we're worried about the perception of liability.
I think you always worry about it, or you're concerned about it. But everything that we've done has been done as it relates to what is the most healthiest and the best way to move forward. And I don't think anybody can argue with that. And so if there is that argument out there, I'm sure that we will be able to address it effectively.
Thank you.
And I will tell you that most of the comments that I have heard from the public, in some ways says, well, we did a better job in UW, and that it appears that you guys are really on top of it. So I don't expect to have that from the public as well.
Yeah, I would also say I think you have been on top of it. It's been great. So I've been here for a while and on campus, and it's been very great to see how seriously even everyone's been taking it. So I personally want to say thank you. Do we have any last questions for Dr. Daniels at all? I don't think we do. Maybe yet. All right, going around once, twice. Okay. Well, Dr. Daniels, we appreciate you being a guest and answering some questions, like some really good ones. We would love it if you want to stay for the rest of the meeting, hang out.
Am I seeing it correctly? There's only 2 in 1630?
What about 1630?
No. Well, when I say 16, I'm talking about the room number you're in.
Oh,
so,
1630C. There should be, we're in C right
now. 2 of you? I can't see on the other side.
4 of us actually, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So slowly getting those numbers up, and people back on campus. So optimistic. But yeah. We'd love it if you, just hung out with us for the rest of the meeting. But unless there's no more questions, we're definitely gonna move on and take it on down to the next bit here. So thank you again, Dr. Daniels.
Thank you. I've appreciated all of the conversation that we've had. And hopefully we'll be able to continue it, and I can bring other news the next time, or one of my colleagues will. But thank you.
And we look forward to it. All right, so with that said, I'm going to move on to Admin and Finance Committee. VP Shockey, do you have a report for us?
Yeah, so we met and we reviewed the bill that will be voted on later this evening. We also discussed what we're going to be doing for the town hall. We're going to do some research on the clubs at Madison College and share some information about that and how to get involved. And then I also started looking at the budget for Student Senate, and I'll be presenting and sharing a little more about where we are in the budget for this year. And I'll be presenting something on that in the coming weeks. So that's about it, and that concludes my report.
All right, thank you, VP Shockey. Legislative and Rules Committee is currently vacant. Team Development Committee, VP Yildiz is not with us tonight. So moving on, Public Relations Committee, VP Labella, do you have a report for us?
Thank you. Just something small. You may have noticed if you're on any of the Senate social media accounts, or if you've taken a look at the latest issue of Clarion, that our advertisements are now up for Town Hall. So hopefully we'll get some RSVPs and know what we're looking at for numbers. Besides that, PR committee will be meeting for the first time tomorrow morning, actually. So we'll have an update about what we're working on next week.
Awesome, thank you, VP Labella. And moving on, special reports, advisor report, Advisor Rome, do you have something for us?
Yeah, just two quick things. The town hall planning is coming along really well. I'm grateful for Senator Jones and Senator Lindert, who are doing a lot to help. We have locations confirmed to stream at Watertown and Goodman South. And Senator Lindert is working with the directors of the regional, northern and eastern, to see if it's possible to turn the town hall on at the other campuses, even if we can't have it staffed. So that will be a good thing. And then, not related to the town hall, but Student Life has been looking at stipends across the student organizations, just to make sure it's equitable across organizations and that they're compelling for students, that they would want to get involved with student organizations. So in another week or two, I'm going to be bringing the review of what we've been working on and our proposal for next year's stipends for Senate feedback. So all of the organizations are going to take a look at this and hopefully make some decisions before the budgets are requested for next year. That concludes my report.
Awesome. Thank you, Advisor Rome. Moving on, Student Activities Board, VP Shockey, do you have a report for us?
Only that we are meeting next month on the 19th, but we have not met since I gave my last report. So.
All right. Thank you, VP Shockey. Racial Equity Committee, VP Yildiz, like I just said, is not here. So Senator Klonczynski, do you have a report for us?
I do, a small report. The Racial Equity Committee meets tomorrow afternoon at 1 p.m. And we have VP Lucia Nunez joining us tomorrow afternoon, and we'll be speaking with the Racial Equity Committee for a good portion of the meeting, hopefully about half. So we're really looking forward to that. And as of right now, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Senator Klonczynski. Textbook Affordability Committee, President Green and VP Shockey. I don't think for me. We got a meeting next, maybe
November 15th.
Oh, he's on it. It's November 15th. I'll even write that down so I don't forget. But other than that, there's nothing new from the last meeting, so that wasn't already discussed. So I'm gonna move on, unless you have something else.
I don't. No.
All right. So then, then Public Safety Committee. Sarah Willis, do you have something for us? I still see it in here, Senator Willis. I see you muted. I don't know. Maybe you're trying to unmute yourself, or if you just step away. Oh, I think
No report.
Perfect. Thank you, Senator Willis. All right, moving on down now. Reedsburg, to the regional and metro campus report. So Reedsburg is currently vacant. Watertown, Senator Lindert, do you have a report for us?
No report.
All right, awesome. And then Portage is currently vacant. Fort Atkinson is currently vacant. Goodman South, Senator Shane, do you have a report for us?
No report at the moment.
All right, awesome. And then college assembly and council reports. College assembly, Senator Chardelli, do you have a report for us?
No report.
All right, and then, yep, I'm looking at academic council, Senator Jane, do you have a report for us on that one?
Yeah, so for during today's meeting, for the most part, at least, we continued discussing about the CNC, no credit and no credit policy. We also reviewed some feedback we gathered from the student access and success team. And in regards to questions like if students understood the policy options and the implications, and if we were able to effectively communicate these information to students. And there's also been talk of like an automated Blackboard announcement for courses that have this option. But so far, this concludes my report.
Oh, all right, thank you, sir. Thank you, Senator Jane. All right, moving on down. I want to make sure I have my participant list window open as fully as possible. All right, Diversity Community Relations Counselor, Sarah Klonsinski, do you have a report for us?
No report to give tonight.
All right, thank you very much. Facilities Planning and Investment Council, Senator Willis, do you have a report for us on this one?
No report. We meet next Wednesday.
All right, thank you very much. Finance Council, Senator Jones, do you have a report for us?
No report. We haven't met yet.
All right, thank you. And Information Technology Council, Senator Zebel, do you have a report for us? You still meeting with us? You still here? I see you on mute though. I guess you're trying to unmute yourself. All right, maybe he's not.
Was that me? My bad.
Yep, you, buddy.
Yeah, no, I have no report. I'm sorry.
All right, all good. Thank you very much. And then Institutional Effectiveness Council, VP Shockey, do you have a report for us?
I do not have a report. We meet next Wednesday.
All right, thank you very much. Professional Development Council, Sarah Jones, do you have a report for us on that one?
I do have a report. This is my
Awesome.
first report, so I'm super stoked about it.
Woo!
We went over our issue analysis sheet, and we worked on a question that was, how do we make sure that staff has the time to work on professional development? And that's staff as opposed to faculty, which I also learned were different. So yeah, we wrote up some bullet point summaries of, the history and the background of professional development, and wrote up a brief summary and goals for the PD staff to address. So our next meeting is, I think, the 1st of November, and I will have an update.
Awesome. Thank you, Sarah Jones. And then last but certainly not least, Student Affairs Council, VP Lavella, do you have a report for us?
I do not. We meet on November 5th next.
All right. Thank you very much. Then moving on down, that concludes our reports on that. Old business items now. Bill 004, Senator Chardelli. Just to kind of repeat, we brought this as a discussion topic last GA. We went over everything. This is going to be just a vote now, a roll call vote, and Shockey will be so reading off everyone's name and just getting a, nay, or abstaining from it. With that said, I'll take questions before, I mean, before I hand it off. So.
Yeah, he was like, do you have guns in Texas? So I was like, yes, anyone in Texas has guns.
Who's sharing their screen?
Are you guys able to see my screen?
Oh, you're okay. Yeah, then yes, that's your screen that you're sharing. So yes, we can see that.
All right.
Maybe just in case you want to do a quick just once over again, just you don't have to read it line by line since it was already formally read at the last meeting, but just so everyone is aware of what they're about to vote on.
Yeah, so basically this is the bill we read last week, Senate Bill 04. It is basically just to change the bylaws, amend the bylaws to update that the Finance and Planning Committee or the Finance Committee has now the responsibility of approving the reimbursement request for student clubs. Before it was the executive leadership team who did that, and now the Finance Committee is responsible. We're already in the process of making that transition. The Finance Committee has been meeting with Candace, who is doing this currently. We're in the works of passing it off. So this is just to make it officially in the books, and we need a 3/4 vote. And if it doesn't pass, I don't really know what happens, but I'm going to find out. So does anyone want me to actually read this, read the language again, or?
If it hasn't been updated in any way, then you don't know, you don't have to do it again.
Yeah, there was just like some typos that were changed, that's it. So here's the addition in this red text. The committee is responsible for the review of student club funding requests. Nothing else is changing, that's the only addition.
All right, well then, any other last bits of comments or anything that anyone would like to include or add or whatnot? And as I say that, I'm gonna hand this off to you then, Mr. Shockey, do that roll call vote if nobody does have anything they'd like to say. Sounds like everyone is on the same page, and that's a good sign, so I like that. So let's take it away.
Yeah, so I'll just say everyone's name. I have everyone's name down as it appears on the roll record. Everyone that's here at least. So I'll just say your name, aye, nay, or abstain. VP LaBelle.
Aye.
Right. VP Shockey, aye. Senator Ciardelli.
Aye.
Senator Jones.
Aye.
Senator Klonczynski.
Aye.
Senator Willis.
Aye.
Senator Zito.
Aye.
Senator Linder.
Aye.
Senator Zhang.
Aye.
All right, and that should be everyone. I didn't miss anyone, correct?
You got everybody? Thank you.
All right, perfect. Unanimous.
All right, yeah, woo!
You did it.
Yeah, another one done. We'll make it brighter. So, all right, awesome, and good job, everyone who wrote that bill and helped to bring that to us. So really great work and great teamwork. So, okie dokie. Well, that wraps up that bit of old business. And then moving on down, new business items. We do not have any new business items to discuss. And then moving on down after that to the non-business housekeeping items, town hall planning, and Advisor Rome.
Yes, I'll take it away. Just trying to figure out how to do this, because I have some of my notes up there, and,
How best can I help you?
Can you give me a pen?
Yeah, I'll give you one
Okay.
of my pens.
I guess one thing that every senator can do, thank you, to help make this a success, is reach out to your instructors to see if you can make an announcement in each of your classes that Student Senate is having a town hall. And if they are open to that, awesome. If you either don't have synchronous classes or they aren't on board with that, ask if you can post something in Blackboard or send an email to the class through Blackboard, or if they can send it on your behalf, because we really want to reach students. And if you haven't already reached out to your instructors to let them know, hey, I'm on Senate and I want to talk to students, this would be a good opportunity to kind of make that introduction to the folks who are in your classes. Another easy thing to do, now that there is stuff on social media, is to share that on your own personal accounts. That can really boost the reach. So definitely do that as you see the posts about the town hall. VP Labella, do we have like a Facebook event or anything? We had talked about that.
I did not schedule one, no.
Okay. I don't know if people still respond to Facebook events, if that's successful, I'm not sure. Maybe we can just pin a post about it on the page. I don't know if there's pinning on Instagram or anything. I'm solely a Facebook kind of gal. But just post as much as you can, share it, invite people to like the Student Senate page, to come with you to the town hall. Those are big things that you could do kind of whenever over the next week. So definitely do those things. We are also looking for some help at Truax that morning. So I know that Senator Jones will be here, plus the officers. Is there anyone else who is available in the morning on Monday, November 8th, starting, say, around 10 o'clock? I think we're looking for people to like walk around and tell people that this is happening and hand out flyers to people who are just sitting around in the main building, and maybe even go over to the other buildings and just let people know what's happening. Anyone around? I don't know if there's anything in the chat. I can't.
I see you. I mean,
All right, I see
you've
it.
got your hand raised.
I hope you will be at Goodman South.
Yeah.
Yes. So awesome. That's a good question. Is anyone, would being at Goodman South be easier for anyone? Because I think you'll have a staff person from Student Life, but couldn't hurt to have another senator. See a hand up from Senator Willis. Is that yes, you can be at Truax that morning?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll put on my N95 mask and come.
Thank you.
You're most welcome.
Just so you know, N95 masks aren't allowed.
Oh, I'm wearing two, and you cannot stop. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna go a step further. I'm gonna pick up a respirator, so I'll see you with my respirator on.
I agree. It doesn't make sense, but that's just what the rules say. Just FYI, I'm not going to try to say that. I'm not going to try to enforce it personally. But
Hey, well, I didn't put on a couple of pounds during this pandemic, so I'm okay. I'm ready. So I'm gonna be brave, and I'm gonna come on campus and help out on the 8th.
Wonderful. Thank you.
You're so welcome.
There, anyone else who can be around, or even if it's not at 10, just be at the event to help things go wrong, or just to be there and support.
Here.
Yes, at Truax. I counted you
Yep. Yeah.
Labella in. Okay. So then the other question, the exec team was brainstorming kind of who employee-wise, whether that's staff, faculty, administrators, should be invited and what the purpose of that invitation would be. So they generated a list that was pretty broad, that included everyone on the cabinet, folks from shared governance, people from the bookstore, food pantry, what was the other big?
Career and employment, and even student
Advisors, student
yeah.
success coaches, Student Life. I guess, what are people's thoughts on staff, faculty, and administrators being there? What should that invite be? I want to send out something tomorrow to those who we at least want to open up the invitation for, but I also don't want there to be more staff there than students. So what questions or comments does that spark?
Advisor Rome?
Yeah.
Just like with the marketing material you got about the Fall Leadership Conference, I think if you send the invitation to the instructors and ask them to invite their students, that might be a way to actually get them to come too. Is it going to be both in person and virtual?
Yes.
And you could even ask them to consider taking the time out of their class to actually do that as a group versus trying to have one or two people straggle through. And they can do it together and tune in part or all of the time, but to sort of present it that way so that they can potentially participate as a class and make it a part of their lesson.
Okay, that's a good idea. What other ideas do we have for inviting folks and getting the word out? We're gonna send an all-student email. It's gonna go in the student news, in the employee news. It's up on the digital screens. We're gonna print posters, send them to the regional campuses.
Shout it from the rooftop.
Shout it from the rooftops. We're gonna get Sean up on the roof. Is that
I see Senator Jones, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, earlier me and Advisor Rome met, and we kind of talked about some ways. Maybe if some of us could go around during that week, or maybe the week before, so I guess next week, and just like hand out some flyers in the front of the building or something like that. If any senators would want to do that with me, or VPs or anybody, I think that could get, I don't know, I think that would be really beneficial for foot traffic.
Okay,
And no one has to make any like decisions now, but we can email about it. So if anybody's like interested in that, just email me and we can set up a day.
And I'll get some small flyers printed up so they're ready in the office by Monday.
And yet, Sarah Willis, is your hand back up again? Or is that, okay, cool.
Okay, wait a minute, I just lost the question.
Sorry, didn't mean make you.
Well, I was gonna say, yep, it's gone. It'll come back. I'll raise my hand again. Sorry.
Let's do what was, yeah, talk about tomorrow, NPR too, yeah, definitely. Yeah, let's be utilizing all of our communications, is that the hand back up again? There we go, say it.
Found it.
I promise you, I'm not having a senior moment. I do believe I did see that we had like the full page when the Clarion is folded open and it opens up, the inside page has advertising on it, right, on this week's paper?
It is. Doug was nice enough to put us there.
Perfect. Okay, I just wanted to double check. I thought I saw what I saw, and I just wanted to be sure.
Where was it?
On the back page of the issue of the Clarion that came out yesterday. And VP Lubella put a QR code on there, so if people scan it, it takes them right to the form to like RSVP.
Oh, sweet.
Everyone who RSVP is gonna get, I think the direct calendar invite for where they said they were going to go, so I'm gonna try to manage all that.
I checked out the forum, yeah, it's a pretty good forum. So, a lot of hard work went into that, so I'm really appreciative of all of it,
All right, if you think of other things, let VP Lubella and I know, so that we can just keep getting the word out. But word of mouth is gonna be the best option, or the thing that brings the most people in, is if you say, hey, I'm a student senator, and I think you should come to this. So, yep. Awesome, thank you all. We'll give you one more update next week.
And did I see a hand go back up again? Go, yeah, not for it.
So you know I'm gonna ask what I always ask. Are we having snacks?
Get a box lunch.
Okay, thank you.
Senator Jones is working on a bill for that.
Only at 2X.
We're working on Goodman South. Watertown's gonna get food too. I just haven't solidified the details. Because I think those might come out of the student life budget, regional campus budget,
Yeah.
et cetera. So I'm working with Renee on that.
But the progress is moving along though, eh? But yes, food, there will be food, so.
Yeah, full lunch at Truax.
Cool. Awesome, yeah, more details will come, but yeah, just please help spread that as best as possible. So that concludes that. And I'm gonna move on down, see, if I haven't given these announcements yet, and that happens to be a motion to adjourn, then the whole point goes out the window, me giving these announcements, so I'm just gonna give these and then I'm gonna look up, all right? So, Officer House, people looks like they've been doing them as, for the most part, so I'm hoping by the end of the semester, we're gonna have everyone doing them, but it's been really good, just take a glance at, I'm really proud of everyone. Keep it up though, please. Or you have to talk to this guy right next to me. I'm gonna point so that it looks like you can see that I'm pointing at Senator, VP Shockey. And then, yes, check your Outlook, the teams which we're on right now, emails, notifications for me, E-Team, Brad Jerome, let's make sure we're talking. And it seems like we are. I felt like I was outside of the loop with this. I think there was an inside joke going on between Senator Trudell and Senator Willis, but it made me smile knowing that they were having such a good, positive banter. So, I keep it up. But yeah, that's all I got to say. Anyone else have anything they want to add or emphasize? If not, whose hand wants to take it? I'm gonna actually, I gotta go back to Senator Trudell and say, first, is this the thing? If it is the thing, then I'm gonna let her take it second. Senator Trudell?
It is the thing, so I'll just wait for someone else unless they have something.
Yours the thing as well, and the thing I'm referring to is adjourning the meeting. Okay, so it looks like that, yeah, hers is gonna be the second, so who else doesn't have, who else has something they want to add to announcements? If nobody does, then I'm going to give it to, say, Senator Trudell has made a motion, is that correct?
Yes, motion to adjourn.
And then you're seconding it, Senator Zhang, is that correct?
Yes.
All right, seconded by Senator Zhang. All those in favor, please use the hand raising feature now. Keep your hands up, please. And that's the journey. So we are adjourned at 5:38 p.m. And have a great rest of your rainy whatever outside. And pass the messages along about the town hall. And we'll see everyone next week. And enjoy the weekend.
Safe Halloween, everyone.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween too. Trick or treat.
Well, my computer.
Woo!
Perfect.
I know.
And you don't have to go to class.
I don't. I'm so happy that I don't go to class. I could not stare at a screen for
So what happened?
3 more hours.
It updated.
Oh my God.
Right after I hit leave the meeting, it updated. It shut off. So I'm happy I sneakily switched the camera off.
I didn't see it change. I was wondering how
I
that
know.
happened. So
I
that
know.
was very good. I was very happy with it.
It was a little stressful because I couldn't unmute us without getting an echo because my computer didn't recognize that the sound it was hearing was the meeting.
Yeah. No, I think you did a really good job, and VP Shockey did a very good job transitioning his sound. So I was like, I didn't know what was going on either.
Yeah, I was like, I can't unmute us.
Yeah.